King's Row is what is chosen, it will look like so. We can see a lot of interesting stuff here with King's Row. A lot of different, I forget what it's called. A lot of different compositions, a lot of different strategies that can come from King's Row. Remember, I will never forget this. This is the map where we had the gladiators do the merry-go-round composition, which is some of the most fun I've ever had watching a Overwatch League match. So we'll see. King's Row gives itself to a lot of different compositions, including, importantly, the Bastion, which works a little bit better now that the Sigma shield actually is less. So with the nerfs to the Sigma and Orisa shields, we could see a Bastion come out a little bit more here, but we also could see it gone away from, as you don't have as much to protect it. Well, coming from WMU, they will decide to go for that Bastion and see if they can't completely stop Liberty here. I mean, Bastion comps basically work one of two ways. You either full hold them or you get destroyed. So, or you one of three ways: either full hold, or you destroy them, or you destroy them until they have ults come online, and then they destroy you. So we'll see how that's going to work for each of these teams. Right now, the main focus is on this Bastion. Breach on the Hanzo might just be getting a scouting arrow out, but it looks like he will decide to stay on this actually, and Milk on the Mei. So a Hanzo Mei combo, and the Mei wall will actually block off the Bastion. Liberty's on point. Excellent decision to use the Mei wall to block off the Bastion, plus excellent placement for it, and Milk somehow headshotting the Pharah. Breach is now up there, getting headshots onto the Pharah and onto the Mercy. The Pharah does get out alive, but Liberty, excellent job here, continuing to stay alive and continuing to keep damage and damage output coming in. The Bastion does fall, so does the Pharah, and Liberty steamroll this Bastion comp and move on to the payload portion. So that's what I said. Bastion comp normally works one of three ways. Either you steamroll the enemy steamrolls you, or the enemy waits for ults and then steamrolls you. And we will actually see Razgriz, who was on that Bastion, switching over to the Reaper. Don't necessarily want to use Bastion on defense here. You can use it a little bit on the last point, but not necessarily a good defensive Bastion when the payload's moving on King's Row. Sigma, Jude's here doing an excellent job of keeping that Sigma barrier to protect his team, keep this payload moving. And a little bit too far out. That Sigma barrier is actually not protecting his team. It's just there, actually. So it will be a little bit upsetting as Grinch and Milk both go down. So does your Lucio, Ebistrub, and Blink probably just going to attempt to escape with this Moira. Unable to do so. WMU finally put a stop to Liberty, but halfway through this first point. So, or halfway through this first checkpoint of the actual payload. So, we will see what WMU will do, whether they can keep stopping out Liberty, as Milk switches to the McCree and Breach switches to the Widowmaker. So, a little bit of change now that there is no more Bastion. Coming around the side, Sigma. Breach gets a headshot onto the Razgriz. That's the Reaper out of the way, but with Judes and Milk falling as well, it will not be a good sign. Hiding from Liberty to hopefully not have to worry about anything, and actually they might take these tanks down. Crunchy Broth gets taken down. Breach kind of free firing on this Widowmaker, making sure he's able to do everything. Grinch will fall, Ebistrab will as well, but Breach, if he can get, Ebistrab stays alive, if he can get on this side, the Sigma does see him, so does the Reaper. Unable to get that flick shot into the Reaper. And with the Rabadon Flux coming in from, it looks like WMU's Sigma, it is. It actually won't do anything. Liberty able to push through somehow and continue to get this team, this payload moving. Now you only have 4 people on the payload if you're WMU, and you just lost your Orisa, and your Sigma shield is already cracking. This Justice is gonna have to be huge. Gets Milk, gets Grinch, but that's it. And Crunchy Broth will fall. Your Mercy able to res, but will it be enough? With the Reaper on the card, Razgriz hopefully being able to stop the rest of Liberty. You have only the Sigma, and you have the Lucio and the Mora. No DPS from Liberty. They are looking to arrive shortly, and Razgriz gets stunned out of the Death Blossom, but with Blink dying in the middle of the Coalescence, Liberty will have to fall back. You don't have your support ultimate anymore. That's a huge kill onto Blink while he's using the Coalescence. Unable to push forward with that anymore. This Pharah from Crunchy Broth, excellent job to actually keep the rest of his team alive. Breach now getting chased out. Unable to get the kill onto Razgriz on that Reaper, who's now back in the Liberty spawn and away from the rest of his team. He is going to get support from the Pharah, so we will see. Liberty just backcaps. Okay. While that whole thing is going on, Liberty kind of just decides to backcap the payload, and now Liberty's on the defensive side, and WMU are on the attacking side. Liberty is able to just keep pushing this car. WMU has to come to them, and come to them they will with the Orisa bongos pushed down. They'll be able to wipe Liberty, but that was something you can't let happen. You cannot let them backcap a point on you. I don't really know if it was necessarily a backcap, as we see Milk on this McCree far away from his team. Looks like he will be able to rejoin them. I knew he's in a perfect position. Gets TNR. Sun's Reaper. Reaper will fall, but he will fall. But an excellent stun on the Reaper to keep himself alive a little bit longer. Sigma ulti. But Liberty. Breach just hitting headshot after just hitting arrow after arrow onto free firing onto this WMU team. Will continue to get this just pushed forward. Liberty, even though WMU is using so many ults, Liberty continues to push forward, and WMU will actually take this time to change to the Reinhardt and Zarya combo that worked for them so well earlier. They will push forward. They use so many ults though. Amplification Matrix, Barrage, and the Death Blossom, and they're currently using Valkyrie. They use 4 ults to finally stop Liberty, and Liberty will come back with 3. Breach's Dragon Strike, the Lucio Soundbearer, Ebistrub Soundbearer, and Grinch's Orisa Bongos. The damage amplification could change this entire fight around. And with Reinhardt, he's caught out. He's going to fall here. Caught out away from the rest of his team in the Immortality Field, not enough to save him. Liberty just now firing onto these members of WMU and will keep on burning them down. The only members left alive are the Pharah and the Mercy actually does fall as well. It's just the Pharah and the Reaper in the back line. Hoping, doesn't have a Death Blossom, so can't really do too much. Has to run away. Lucio falls. The Reaper falls as well. This Pharah is the biggest issue right now. And with the Dragon Strike and the Coalescence, Liberty will look like they will be able to push this into the final capping point. Coming off of a steamroll of a first point. Razgriz barely able to touch. Steamroll of a first point. And a back cap for the second. They will be able to do with 20 seconds left. Finally get into the rest of... Finally get the every point. Again, just a back cap. I mean, that's got to be a little bit demoralizing for WMU. And I say a little bit because it wasn't necessarily a back cap. They just kind of got behind you. So a little bit demoralizing, but you did stop them with 20 seconds left after that. So easily you can put forward a much better pace. And that's what they're going to be hoping to do right here with this. I'm going to assume they're not going to keep, well, yeah, I'm going to assume they're not going to keep the Sombra out. The Sombra would be used to shut down Bastion a little bit, or a Mercy if Liberty was running it. I think that that they might come out with the Sombra, but it'll likely be brought back. Apparently, you can put the shield into the enemy's door, by the way, for Sigma. And they can't see it, actually. So that's going to block any instant line of sight, any instant, like, snipers that would come out. And the Sombra, I was going to say, probably used for scouting. You see, there is no Bastion, as they are running that McCree May combo that they like. But with a hack onto the Orisa, Razgriz is going to be getting some damage. But Pillsbury on that Reinhardt, the first to fall, and it's the Judes on the Sigma. So, oh, Melk's trying to be a little bit sneaky here. Gonna try to wall off about half the team when they come in. If he can succeed in doing that, it'll be good. But he's hacked out Razgriz, able to know where he's there, and that'll ruin that entire plan, actually. Good coordination between the entire team of WMU. And the May now in the back line with an excellent haul. Ice block. Probably gonna be Milk falling here. It will be. And with Coalescence, then blinked, hacked, unable to heal his team. Liberty will jump off the point and retreat. Ebstrop just getting a little bit more stall time coming out. But about the same cap rate, about the same amount of time. Maybe a little bit quicker for Liberty, but good job for WMU, but good job also for Liberty. As there is still a fight going on. Pillsbury gets stunned. That's huge. Coalescence. EMP will actually stop it. So good job from Razgriz using that EMP to keep his team alive, but nothing actually gained from it. And Pillsbury, the Shatter gets blocked by the Sigma shield because it's low enough to the ground when the wave was placed. And they know the Sombra's behind them. They're hunting him out now. Razgriz will fall. But as I was saying, Liberty get out with 3 of their members alive, so they're able to take that fight that much faster. This Lucio is getting a little bit low. TNR does finally get healing back up. Hasselhoff attempting to keep his team alive and keep them healthy so that they can actually get in. The Doomfist going in. Will Meteor Strike, so we'll see. Falls onto the Orisa, unable to get any kills except for onto the Orisa Bongos. And the Sigma ulti unable to get anything as well. Judes and Milk both low. Judes will fall. Milk might be next, but he gets a blizzard off. Half of the team of WMU will be frozen, but the other half are enough to push Liberty back and make sure that they can't get anything good coming from this. Oh, a huge shatter as well. That'll be a quad kill. Hall getting 3 elims. Well, 3 final blows actually there. And this will be the second point coming in for WMU as the Reinhardt, again, so aggressive. I mean, it's working to push Liberty back, but he's at 50 health, and he has to get back to the rest of his team. And they have to put so many resources into healing him now. This might come back to bite them in the end. As it was an aggressive Reinhardt that got Liberty that last push as well. Pillsbury pushing in with his team with the Graviton Surge. He's just going to be free firing that hammer, free swinging that hammer. Nothing stopping him. Will also get his Shatter online because of that. And EMP grab combo, too powerful with the Coalescence and a Reinhardt to boot. Breach unable to even get to the rest of his team. Shatter will make the Sigma unable to do anything. And Liberty at this point, they have a Wrecking Ball out, so they're just trying to stall right now. Wrecking Ball is doing a decent job of stalling, but unable to stay long. Doomfist hacked out. Reaper on point, won't be long either. And the Moira's gone. Just Sigma. He does touch. But right now, it's just Liberty trickling on, trying to stall this point out as long as they can. Everyone's on stall. We have the Doomfist, we have the Mei, we have the Wrecking Ball. But round 2 complete with 3 minutes, with a little bit over 3.5 minutes for WMU. Due to the fact Liberty had under a minute left, it'll be 4:12 for WMU and 1 minute for Liberty to do whatever they can. And this will be where we take the flight back through Kings Row in order to get back to this. The point that could end it all. We could see either Liberty taking this point and going very far, or we could see WMU running out with this Mei Reaper composition that we do see quite a bit now. They decided not to go for the Bastion in this round, but this Mei Reaper that has worked so well for them in the past little bit. We will actually see not only the Mei in that position in that hotel to block off the entrance, but we'll see the Reaper right on the left side, out of sight. Breach is going to have to hope to get an excellent shot. Does not. Switches immediately to the Doomfist. And now here we go. The Mei. Will they get the wall off? They will. It's just a Lucio. Eberstraub falling instantly. Excellent wall coming in from Crunchy Broth. And Liberty immediately losing their engage and a support, and the Doomfist will be the next to fall. But there was a hole in the wall, so Breach can get a kill on the TNR, and Liberty can move in the entire team themselves. With Mei falling and the Razgriz falling, it will, however, be Liberty. Actually, they were falling, but they have the close spawns. I keep forgetting. So they're able to push on this point as everyone comes back. There's so many members of WMU alive. There's so much work that has to be done. So many health bars that have to be torn through. And the Coalescence will help to keep not only everybody else alive, but to tear through those health bars. How? Somehow gets back, gets a double. Liberty only have one alive, and it's Blink, and he won't be long. A team kill will mark the end of Liberty's push. Now, you have to hope for a tie. Once again, Liberty, at this point where you do have to, you do have to full hold here. You cannot let WMU in 4 minutes and 12 seconds get a single tick. This is where you go all out, and they will be all or nothing. Bastion composition. And they will actually set up in a little bit of a more unusual place. You don't see as much you don't see as many people set up here. So, Breach has to get an early pick off. Has to hope. Well, Razgriz is invisible, so you'll have to hope that it won't be huge. He does catch him out. Hacked. The Sombra is above them. That shield doesn't protect you from above as well. And with that hack, Breach has to move out. Does get quite a bit of support from his team, but unable to stay alive. And the Immortality Field falls as well. Grinch is next. Pillsbury already has a shatter. Okay, that's it. Just Pillsbury, a shatter will seal the deal. WMU, take map 2, take the game. 2-0, WMU Chargers will beat Liberty Red. And we'll quickly see, player of the game is of course one of Pillsbury's shatters. These have been huge. And this is the one at the very end of the map. Trapping everyone in that corridor. And with a Zarya beam and a fire strike, it's just over. And that is the first game. Liberty University falling to WMU. And let's go into our... I didn't even notice actually Razgrid switched over to the Tracer once he fell on the Sombra in that last fight. Or in that first defense. I didn't even notice he switched over to that Tracer once he lost on Reaper. Hopefully to get back to his team. But let's talk about this. Let's see what could Liberty have done better. Well, I think one of the main issues with this was, to be honest, the fact that Liberty had this... I'm trying to think. I think one of the main issues was communication. I mean, WMU had excellent communication. Sombra saying, hey, the Mei is here. Don't walk forward. And then the Mei just... And then WMU continuing to poke. Continuing to look like they might push forward. Sombra gets a hack on the Mei. Go button. I mean, literally all you have to do is get that hack. Say, Mei's hacked. And your team just pushes forward. Because you can't get walled off anymore. And it looks like that's what happened. It looks like that's what happened with Liberty University right here. So, can they come back from this? Yeah. Again, it looked like communication was a bit of an issue. It didn't look like anyone on Liberty played inherently bad. It just looked like they didn't necessarily have the communication to win this set. And as I said, as I've been mentioning quite a bit, one of the main reasons for that is very likely this is a new Liberty team. Yes, this is preseason week. This is a preseason game still. And this is week 4 of the preseason, but this is the first time Liberty has worked with this specific iteration of Red. And this specific iteration of Navy as well, actually. Both teams got a huge rework after the Liberty Red versus the Liberty Navy game. And this is, again, them trying to figure out. That's why the preseason exists, so you can figure out things, so you can learn things. This Reinhardt Zarya has been much more powerful. I actually watched last night someone play this. This was played in High Masters. And the Reinhardt Zarya combo is a lot more powerful than I think people expect. Again, is Sigma powerful? Yes, he is definitely still powerful. Is Orisa powerful? Yes, Orisa is definitely still powerful. But I think this Reinhardt Zarya combo that you see is actually going to be played a bit more. And I think it's going to be played around not only Reinhardt's shield, but it's going to be played around Zarya's bubbles. And that's another thing, is keeping an eye on the bubbles and keeping an eye on whether Zarya has a personal bubble, whether Reinhardt's shield is down. And trying to keep track of the ultimates. I mean, when you have a Reinhardt that very clearly should have his shatter on the first map, that huge shatter that was played in the game. You have a Reinhardt that very clearly has shatter. You cannot let what is it? I'm trying to think what it is. You can't just let him not be shielded. You can't not have a shield or not have your team separated when that happens. So just a couple of things such as keeping track of ultimates and keeping an eye on what's going to be powerful, I think is the best thing, because as I said, right now it's been 5 days since that patch came out. While yes, it is a brand new patch, I can understand not necessarily having the best read on it yet. It has been 5 days. Somebody has a read on it. And I of course, I don't necessarily mean the players in Tespa. I'm talking about like some of the pros. Jane, someone probably has a read on the meta, and it looks like the Masters have kind of agreed it is that Reinhardt Zarya. So we'll see if that continues to be the case.